Welcome the anointed ones. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. But here's the thing. You didn't just recognize their existence, you obliterated 97% of them. While the rest of the world remains blind to the invisible war raging around them, you, the chosen one, walked straight into the battlefield and emerged victorious. Did you know that most people spend 85% of their energy fighting battles they don't even realize they're losing? Emotional manipulation, spiritual attacks, mental chaos, these aren't random. They're carefully designed by forces that prey on the weak. But here's the kicker. 97% of those forces underestimated you. You didn't just survive their traps. You dismantled them with strategies they never saw coming. How? That's what we're here to uncover. Get ready, because this isn't just about what you overcame. It's about how you became the nightmare demons fear the most. And let's be honest, if demons had therapy sessions, you would be the reason they can't stop complaining to their infernal counselors. We tried everything, boss, but they just kept winning. Number 1. You've mastered the art of self-control. Self-control is one of the most underestimated powers, yet it's the exact reason you've defeated 97% of the demons that came for you. Demons don't need to physically attack. They manipulate through chaos, provoking your emotions and reactions to throw you off balance. Their game is simple. Pull your strings, make you act out of impulse, and then sit back and watch you destroy yourself. But with you, they hit a wall. You've mastered the ability to pause, assess, and act with intention, not reaction. This is a rare skill, and it terrifies those dark forces because it takes away their leverage. They can't feed off your anger, your fear, or your impulsive decisions. When they expected you to lash out, you stayed calm. When they wanted you to crumble, you stood tall. Every time you chose peace over chaos, you stripped them of their power over you. Here's the brutal truth. Most people lose because they let their emotions run wild. They scream, they argue, they panic, and demons thrive on that energy. But you've turned your emotions into tools, not weapons against yourself. Your control over your inner world makes it impossible for external forces to penetrate. And let's be real, your self-control doesn't just keep demons at bay, it confuses the hell out of them. They throw everything they have at you, expecting an outburst. And instead, you remain unshaken. That's not just strength. It's a form of mastery that only a chosen one can embody. Self-control isn't passive. It's active warfare. It's your refusal to play their game, to give them the chaos they need to survive. This isn't just discipline, it's dominance, and it's why 97% of them couldn't stand against you. Number 2. You embrace solitude, which terrifies the dark forces. Solitude is your secret weapon, and it's one of the main reasons you've defeated 97% of the demons that tried to take you down. Most people run from being alone because it forces them to face themselves, their fears, weaknesses, and unresolved emotions. But not you. You embraced solitude, turning what others see as isolation into your greatest source of strength. Demons thrive on distraction. They need noise, chaos, and external validation to manipulate people into staying weak and dependent. Solitude disrupts their plans because it creates space for clarity and connection to your higher self. In the quiet, you saw through their lies. You recognized the subtle ways they tried to influence you, through negative thoughts, toxic relationships, and manipulative environments, and you shut it all down. Your time alone wasn't wasted, it was transformative. While others wasted energy avoiding their inner battles, you fought and won yours in private. This scared the demons because solitude made you self-sufficient. You stopped needing external approval, emotional validation, or material distractions to feel whole. They couldn't latch on to you anymore because their usual tactics had no effect on someone who had already mastered themselves. What's even more powerful is how solitude sharpened your intuition. Without the noise of the world clouding your mind, you tuned into divine wisdom and guidance. This made you unpredictable, a complete enigma to the forces trying to take you down. They couldn't anticipate your moves because your strength came from a place they couldn't reach. While others fear being alone, you turned it into your sanctuary, your battlefield, and ultimately, your victory. It's not that solitude makes you stronger. It reveals the strength that was already there, and for demons, that's an opponent they simply can't handle. Number 3, your energy frequency is untouchable. Your energy frequency is what sets you apart and is a massive reason why 97% of demons couldn't touch you. Energy isn't just some abstract concept. It's the core of who you are. Everything you do, think, and feel radiates energy, and you've raised yours to a level that demons can't even approach. They're repelled by it, almost like moths trying to fly into a flame. Dark forces operate at low frequencies: fear, anger, envy, and doubt. They survive by dragging people down into those same vibrations, feeding off the negativity they create. But you didn't fall for it. Instead, you elevated yourself through self-awareness, spiritual discipline, and relentless personal growth. Every time you chose love over hate, peace over chaos, and faith over fear, you shifted your frequency higher and higher. Here's what makes this so powerful. High vibrations are like a protective shield. It's not just about being positive or calm. It's about being untouchable. When your energy reaches a certain level, anything operating in darkness simply can't stay in your presence. They try to latch onto you, but your energy burns them out before they can even get close. It's not magic, it's alignment. The best part? This wasn't accidental. You worked for this. You chose to let go of toxic habits, negative thoughts, and low-vibration people. You chose to feed your spirit with things that uplift and empower you. That intentionality built a frequency that not only protects you, but also intimidates anything that doesn't belong in your space. Demons hate elevated energy because it reveals their weakness. You didn't just defeat them, you outgrew them. They can't reach you anymore because your vibration is simply too high for them to exist in. That's power, and it's entirely yours. Number 4, you've mastered silence as a weapon. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you've mastered, and it's a weapon that has obliterated 97% of the demons that came against you. It's not just the absence of words, it's the presence of control. While most people feel compelled to respond to negativity, explain themselves, or retaliate, you've learned the art of restraint. Silence doesn't just disarm your enemies, it destroys their ability to function altogether. Demons thrive on reaction. They rely on your emotional outbursts, arguments, and attempts to defend yourself. These reactions give them fuel, a foothold to dig deeper into your life. But when you choose silence, you deny them the chaos they need to survive. Your refusal to engage turns their attacks into wasted effort. They swing, expecting a fight, and instead hit the void. This kind of silence is not weakness, it's strategy. It's knowing that not every battle is worth fighting, especially when your energy is at stake. Your silence speaks louder than words ever could. It says, "I see what you're trying to do, but I won't play your game." That message is devastating to dark forces because it shows you're in control and they're powerless. Silence also magnifies your presence. When you don't react, people and demons are forced to sit with their own actions. They start to unravel, projecting their chaos onto themselves instead of you. It's psychological warfare at its finest. You've turned silence into an unshakable shield and an offensive strike all at once. By starving negativity of the energy it craves, you've suffocated 97% of your enemies into irrelevance. That's not just survival, it's mastery. Silence for you is not the absence of power, it is the power. Number 5, you destroyed their access to your mind. Your mind is your strongest fortress, and by fortifying it, you've destroyed the demons' access to their most important battlefield. For most people, the mind is where they lose before the fight even begins. Manipulation, fear, and confusion are subtle tools dark forces use to dismantle clarity and plant seeds of self-doubt. But not with you. You've turned your mind into an impenetrable stronghold. This didn't happen overnight. You built this resilience through intentional effort, by questioning what you believed, discarding what didn't serve you, and reinforcing what made you stronger. Discernment became your sharpest weapon. You don't let just any thought, idea, or influence take root in your mind anymore. You filter everything through clarity and purpose, making it nearly impossible for manipulation to sneak in unnoticed. Fear, one of the demon's favorite tools, used to have power over you. but you dismantled it by recognizing it for what it is, an illusion. When fear tried to corner you, you leaned into faith and truth, cutting through the lies. Confusion, another weapon they often use, also lost its grip. Where they once sowed doubt, you replaced it with understanding and focus. By mastering your mind, you've not only protected yourself, but also made their efforts futile. Demons can't control someone who refuses to be confused or afraid. They thrive on weakness, and your mental clarity leaves them no entry point. Every time they tried to infiltrate your thoughts, you shut the door and locked it behind them. Your mind is no longer a battlefield. It's your domain, ruled by intention and strength. And without access to it, demons have lost the war before it even began. You've become mentally unbreakable, and that terrifies them. Number 6, your boundaries are inviolable. Your boundaries are not just guidelines, they are spiritual fortresses that keep you untouchable. While many people crumble under guilt, manipulation, or fear of rejection, you've built walls that protect your energy and peace. These aren't walls of isolation, but intentional barriers that separate what serves you from what drains you. And demons? They absolutely despise this. Boundaries are kryptonite to dark forces. They rely on exploiting the lack of them, pushing emotional buttons, invading your space, and guilting you into lowering your defenses. But with you, they hit a dead end. Your boundaries aren't suggestions, they're non-negotiable rules. You've made it clear that no one, no matter how cunning, gets to bypass them without consequence. This inviolability isn't just about saying no to others, it's about saying yes to yourself. You refuse to entertain toxic relationships, situations, or influences that disrupt your spiritual alignment. By doing this, you've created a sacred space where negativity cannot thrive. The demons who once tried to exploit your empathy now realize there's no opening to manipulate you anymore. They can't guilt you into overextending yourself or trick you into lowering your guard. What's more, these boundaries reflect your self-worth. You understand that protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's essential. Demons feed on people who spread themselves too thin, who allow their peace to be eroded for the sake of others' demands. But your strength lies in your refusal to compromise your well-being for anything or anyone unworthy. When demons approach and encounter your unyielding barriers, they don't just retreat, they flee. They know they can't win against someone who has fortified their life with purpose, clarity, and unshakable boundaries. It's not just protection, it's power, and you wield it flawlessly. Number 7, your authenticity broke their illusions. Your authenticity is like a torch that burned down the web of illusions demons rely on to survive. They thrive in lies, in masks, in the false realities they weave to manipulate and control. But you've made the bold choice to live in raw truth. And that decision alone shattered everything they built. You don't just see through their deception, you obliterate it by refusing to play their game. Most people get trapped because they buy into the facades, false narratives, societal expectations, and emotional manipulation designed to keep them in fear and self-doubt. But you've rejected all of that. You've stripped away the need for external validation, the temptation to conform, and the pressure to fit into a system that was never built for your truth. Your authenticity isn't just a personal victory, it's a weapon. Demons rely on people staying blind, playing along, and doubting themselves. Your refusal to do any of those things disrupts their entire operation. By living unapologetically as your true self, you force them into the light where their power crumbles. Lies and illusions can't stand when confronted with truth, and you are the embodiment of truth. Your authenticity also exposes their tactics. By standing firm in who you are, you reveal the lies for what they are, cheap tricks that no longer hold weight. You've become immune to their whispers of fear, guilt, or shame because you've accepted every part of yourself, even the parts they wanted you to hide. That terrifies them because they have no leverage, no weakness to exploit. Demons can only thrive where illusions exist, but you've dismantled their foundation. Your authenticity isn't just a shield, it's a sword that cuts through deception, leaving them no choice but to retreat. They can't survive where truth reigns, and you've made sure it reigns in you. Number 8, you're unbothered by external validation. Your detachment from external validation is one of your most liberating strengths, and it's a move that has completely disarmed demons. They rely on ego as their main tool, feeding it with false praise, starving it with rejection, and manipulating it with the constant need for approval. But when you removed your ego from their grasp and stopped caring about external validation, you left them powerless. The need for approval is where most people fall into traps. They chase praise, fear criticism, and mold themselves into what others want them to be, giving away their power in the process. But you've seen through this game. You no longer look to others to tell you your worth because you've found that validation within yourself. You've made peace with who you are, flaws and all, and that self-assurance makes you unshakable. Demons hate this because it cuts off one of their primary access points to manipulate you. When you don't need applause, their flattery falls flat. When you don't fear rejection, their disapproval loses all sting. They can no longer control you with whispers of doubt or temptations of superiority because your sense of self is no longer tethered to external forces. What's more, your detachment from external validation allows you to move freely in the world. You make decisions based on what aligns with your purpose and values, not based on how others might perceive you. That independence is dangerous to dark forces because it makes you unpredictable and uncontrollable. By detaching from the need for validation, you've robbed demons of one of their sharpest weapons. They can't manipulate someone who doesn't need their approval, and in that freedom you've rendered their attempts futile. You don't just survive, you thrive entirely on your own terms. Number 9. Your spiritual armor is unseen but indestructible. Your spiritual armor is unlike anything demons have ever encountered. It's unseen, but it's so powerful and indestructible that they can't even fathom how to breach it. Most people fight their battles in the physical realm, reacting to challenges with their minds and emotions. But you've taken a different approach. You've aligned yourself so deeply with your spiritual essence that it becomes an impenetrable shield, one that renders attacks meaningless before they even land. While the majority are vulnerable, spiritually naked in a world full of darkness, you've cloaked yourself in divine protection. You've built this armor not through force or aggression, but through alignment. It's the result of constant work, tuning your energy to a higher frequency, maintaining clarity in your purpose, and grounding yourself in the truth of who you are. This isn't just spiritual awareness, it's divine connection. When you walk through the world, your very presence shifts the energies around you, and demons can't survive in that space. They attempt to strike, they plan coordinated attacks, but every blow they throw at you falls harmlessly away. Your shield reflects their darkness back at them, leaving them with nothing to latch onto. It's not a matter of fighting, it's a matter of being so aligned with your higher purpose that anything they send toward you is neutralized before it can even take form. This protection is rare. Most people don't know how to wear this armor. They fight in the physical, wrestling with what they can see, hear, and feel. But your battles are fought in the unseen realm, where your spirit reigns supreme. Demons don't know what to do with someone whose power comes not from their will, but from the divine source they're connected to. And because of that, 97% of their attacks fail. You don't need to defend yourself in the traditional sense. Your spiritual alignment is the armor that makes you invincible, and as long as you stand in your truth, no force can breach it. Number 10. You reflect their true weakness back to them. One of the most powerful victories you've achieved is not through direct confrontation, but by exposing the very essence of the demons themselves. When they encounter you, they don't see strength. They see their own weakness reflected back at them. You don't need to throw punches or engage in battle to break them down. Your mere presence shines a light on their insecurities and desperation. They attack because they can't stand the truth of what they are. Weak, powerless, and ultimately afraid. Demons thrive on deception, manipulating others into doubting their strength and worth. But when they come face to face with you, their illusions shatter. They're confronted with the truth they can't escape. Their tactics, their tricks, their falsehoods don't work on someone who stands firmly in their own power, in their own truth. And that's what breaks them. They can't stand to look at someone who is unshaken by their games. The 97% you've defeated couldn't handle seeing their own reflection through you. They couldn't bear the sight of their own inferiority, stripped of the masks they hide behind. Where they once relied on confusion, fear, and manipulation, they found only clarity, strength, and unwavering confidence in your presence. They saw their own desperation mirrored in your unshakable peace, and it terrified them. This is what makes you so dangerous. Not your ability to fight, but your ability to expose their true nature. You don't engage with their false narratives, you simply reflect their weakness, and in doing so, you dismantle their entire foundation. Demons can't survive when the truth is revealed, and that truth is, they are nothing but shadows, powerless in the face of someone who knows their worth. Number 11. You've stopped feeding their power with fear. Fear is the fuel that demons run on. It's how they control, manipulate, and drain the life force of those they target. The moment they sense fear, they feed off it, growing stronger and more insidious. But you've completely broken that cycle. You've gone bankrupt in the fear department, refusing to give them the one thing they need to thrive. By no longer fearing their threats or presence, you've cut off their primary source of sustenance and left them starving. Most people unknowingly feed demons with their fear, reacting to threats, intimidation, or even the mere idea of dark forces with anxiety, uncertainty, and hesitation. Demons thrive on this. Every ounce of fear you feel gives them power, fuels their schemes, and makes them feel untouchable. But you've seen through the illusion. You've learned that fear is a choice, and you simply refuse to choose it. When they try to intimidate you, when they send waves of fear in your direction, you don't flinch, you don't react. In fact, you've learned to recognize fear for what it is, a trap designed to keep you powerless. And because you've stopped feeding them with that energy, their influence begins to wither. Without fear, they can't sustain themselves. Their threats become hollow, their manipulations fall flat, and their attempts to control you crumble. What most people don't realize is that fear is their consent. It's the unspoken permission for demons to invade their minds, their lives, and their spirits. But you've stopped giving them that consent. You've refused to let fear govern your decisions, and because of that, their power over you is completely drained. When demons find that they can't feed off your fear, they lose their grip. They are left hungry, weak, and powerless, while you stand resolute, having neutralized their greatest weapon. You've deprived them of their sustenance, and without fear they have nothing left to stand on. Number 12. You're not fighting for survival, you're fighting for dominion. While most people are stuck in the survival mentality, constantly fighting just to keep their heads above water, you've shifted into something far more powerful: dominion. You're not just defending yourself against spiritual attacks. You're taking control, reclaiming what was always meant to be yours. You've recognized that the battle isn't about surviving, it's about conquering. Demons don't want you to realize this truth, because the moment you do, their reign over your life is over. Survival is a passive state, one where you wait for the storm to pass and try to endure until things settle. But dominion, that's active. You don't wait for things to calm down. You take charge, you shift the energy, and you reclaim the spaces and territories that demons once thought they controlled. It's not enough to simply fend them off anymore. You've learned to move forward with intent, asserting your power, and making your presence known in ways they can't ignore. This shift in mindset is what has crippled 97% of their ranks. You've stopped letting them dictate the terms of the battle. When they attack, you don't just absorb the blow or try to recover. You turn it around and use it as a launch pad to reclaim more of your personal power, your peace, and your purpose. Every time they try to break you down, you take that energy and repurpose it, reinforcing your dominion over your own life and spiritual space. Demons thrive on confusion and chaos, but when you step into dominion, you operate from a place of order, purpose, and clarity. You're not merely existing in their world, you're reshaping it. And that shift from survival to dominion is exactly why they can't handle you. You're not in retreat, you're advancing. And that's what has decimated their influence over you. In conclusion, the fact that you've defeated 97% of the demons that once sought to destroy you is a testament to your growth, strength, and unwavering resilience. The battle wasn't just about survival. It was about reclaiming your power and asserting dominion over the forces that tried to keep you small. Every strategic move you made, every boundary you set, every moment you chose to stand in your truth has stripped these forces of their ability to control you. You didn't just push back, you shattered their illusions, rendered their tactics ineffective, and left them powerless. What others fail to realize is that this victory isn't just about defeating external forces. It's about the inner mastery you've achieved. By stopping the feeding cycle of fear, by refusing to engage with negativity, by strengthening your spiritual armor, and by embracing your authenticity, you've become untouchable. You've not only survived the storm, you've become the storm. So, as you continue to walk in your power, remember this: the demons that once sought to control you are nothing more than shadows now, fading in the light of your truth. They thought they could break you, but instead, they've only made you stronger. You've proven that when you stand firm in your purpose and align with your divine strength, there is no force, seen or unseen, that can take you down. And that is why you are the one they fear, and the one they can never defeat. If you felt the power in every word, and you know you're ready to continue rising above, don't just stand on the sidelines, join the movement. Hit that subscribe button and be part of a community that's not just surviving, but dominating. Don't let these life-changing truths be the best-kept secret. Share them, embrace them, and keep growing stronger. You've already defeated 97% of the demons. Now take your next step and claim your seat at the top. This is just the beginning. Subscribe now, and let's continue this journey of unstoppable power, truth, and growth together. God bless you.